welcome you to the April 2024 edition of the State Address, a monthly activity of the Osun Masterminds, a coalition of like-minded civil society organizations committed to promoting the ideals of transparency, accountability, and probity in governance. As we have done for the past 2 years, we will be addressing key issues in the polity, providing important advice, and making precise demands where necessary. This may be, by far be the shortest state of the state address because, as we all can attest, the most pressing issues in the polity today demand that we constantly make positions known and demand immediate action. We will take the pertinent issues one after the other. Fuel scarcity. All of us here seated, including you journalists, must have faced some serious difficulties getting here today, thanks to a severe shortage of fuel that has quickly crippled the transportation system across the country. In just a few days of this meaningless fuel scarcity, Nigerians have faced one of the toughest experiences of their lives. Students have had to return home unable to get to their respective schools due to shortage of public transportation. The economy is getting crippled by the day as workers and informal sector operators are also unable to get to their places of work. We recommend the shutting down of schools, maybe for a few weeks, while this scarcity lasts, to avoid the children and their parents suffering unduly. In the midst of all this, the poor situation in recent times have been the worst Nigerians have experienced in recent history. Yet, government has not made any clear statements about the worsening situations across the power and petroleum industries. This is grossly irresponsible. We demand as a group that the federal government acts immediately to solve all the problems pertaining to epileptic power supply and fuel scarcity, to stop the untold hardship Nigerians are currently going through. We cannot be living like slaves in our own dear country under a democratic governance. If solving the current hardship requires that some government officials be sacked, government must take that decisive action now. Government must also immediately tell Nigerians what the state of the Port Harcourt refinery is. Promises upon promises have been made to make the nation's refineries start work in no distant time, with the added promise that this will crash the price of petroleum products in the country. Nigerians are waiting for the actualization of these promises and must not be made to wait for too long. The federal government must act responsibly and make good the promises it made on the power and petroleum sectors, failing which Nigerians will be forced to take to the streets to protest the current mismanagement of such critical sectors. This also leads us to a call on the Osun State government and other states in the Federation to immediately take charge of the state electricity regulation with decisive steps like the recent one the Ekiti State government took with the launch of an electricity regulatory agency in the state, that is Ekiti State. It is high time the states took charge of the delivery of electricity to their people to ensure development in their respective domains. Osun State must take this step as soon as possible, as it cannot be left behind in this critical area, especially at this time when the electricity situation in the state is at the worst it has ever been. Electricity. We again reiterate our call for the sack of the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, by the President. His insistence on classification of users to banks is as absurd as ridiculous. Use of electricity is a special contract, is a social contract, and every Nigerian, irrespective of class, should have access to quality and regular supply of electricity. We have come so far as a nation to have overcome the throes, this self-inflicted pain occasioned by lack of power. And as a matter of fact, let me reiterate here that the classification into band is an admission of failure on part of government. What is stopping everybody from having 24-hour supply of electricity? While businesses suffer and many daily close down, declaring a state of emergency in the power sector is long overdue, and it is time that the problem of power supply be solved once and for all if we must have a prosperous economy, inviting foreign investors. It is very insensitive on the part of the federal government that while people daily line up for fuel at filling stations, they also grapple with lack of electricity supply. Improving electricity supply in Nigeria and addressing barriers to achieving the energy mix targets will entail addressing payment risk, financing power sector investment, as well as improving the pricing and tariff structure, gas pricing and allocation, and market regulation. To this end, also, we challenge the Osun State government to rise up and do the needful, like we mentioned of the Ekiti State and others, in facilitating alternative power generation for our citizens. This, we believe, should be the duty of the Ministry of Energy, hitherto redundant in the state. Insecurity in Ijesha land. While we commend the governor of the state for the decision to commence dualization of a major road in Ilesha, we must raise alarm on the continuous insecurity in Ijesha land. Very recently, a case of farmer other class led to loss of life in Ibala Ijesha. The incidents add to the already long list of unfortunate incidences in Ijesha land that government must sit up to resolve. Part of solving the problem is coming up with clear-cut agricultural policies that not only ensure massive food production, but also guarantees the security of lives of farmers and others within the agricultural value chain, limiting incidences of conflict to the barest minimum. Also, currently has no viable agricultural development policy, and this has made management of our agricultural estates and food production quite adversarial, opening the door to all kinds of conflicts. Part of solving the problem is also more efficient management of our internal security architecture to ward off invaders who come in from other states to cause needless conflicts and clashes in our dear state. We must then ensure that perpetrators of evil are brought to justice and severely dealt with within the ambit of the law. Let me reiterate here that the Amatekun, as a security outfit, is doing its best within the limits of its operation. We call on the government to ensure that it strengthens the operation of Amatekun by providing the necessary logistics, finance, and manpower and equipment to ease their task. Infrastructure. On infrastructure, we commend the move of the state government. We have said it that the dualization of the Ilesha Road, particularly the Biwuris Road, and call on her to please make more effort in creating alternative roads and such that will be motorable in all the cities where road construction is going on. You will agree with us that in places where road construction are ongoing, commuters have problems navigating alternative routes. Osun teacher recruitment. While it is agreeable that the state is in their need of teachers to enhance our workforce, and the process commendable so far, we urge the state government to be very transparent in the recruitment exercise and allow only merit to be the basis of success, jettisoning nepotism, favoritism, and political consideration. In conclusion, we all continue to hope government at all levels will sit up and address these important issues. We implore citizens to remain law-abiding as we all press for immediate resolution of all the problems that we currently experience. May Osun and Nigeria succeed. Thank you so much.